turn tonight to a horrific crime outside Philadelphia. A son accused of attacking, beheading his own father, who was a longtime federal employee. We will not show the images here, but authorities are now pointing to the son's rage at the federal government. Here's our Chief Justice correspondent, Pierre Thomas.
Tonight, Justin Moan is accused of the unthinkable, of murdering and beheading his father, a longtime federal worker, and posting it on YouTube.
I am very sad for the family. I'm very sad for the community, and also for the people that knew him.
According to police, the 32-year-old Moan from Levittown, Pennsylvania, killed his father in a fit of rage about politics, angry at President Biden and apparently at all federal workers. Police say his dad, Michael Moan, worked for the federal government. Neighbors shocked.
It's weird. It's just, it's like, we all watch over each other, and it's just sad.
And in a scene from a horror movie, which we will not show here, Moan allegedly holding his father's head in a rambling 14-minute video left online for hours, describing him as a traitor to this country and calling for a revolution, saying if Joe Biden does not abdicate, then capture him and bring him to me in Pennsylvania. Moan was taken into custody 100 miles away, arrested with a gun inside a National Guard base. The FBI called in to assist as U.S. authorities continue to be concerned about an increasingly volatile environment where political threats have been on the rise.
In fact, a top DOJ official recently told me the current surge in political threats is unprecedented, with judges, FBI agents, and presidential candidates among those recently targeted. David?
This is very alarming. Pierre Thomas tonight. Thank you, Pierre.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.
We are learning more about a disturbing story out of Pennsylvania that unfolded overnight.
That's right. A 32-year-old man is now facing murder charges for allegedly killing his father and posting the aftermath of his gruesome crime on YouTube. NBC News investigative correspondent Tom Winter joins us now. Tom, what happened here and what are the charges?
Right. So, Morgan, it was a little after 7 p.m. last night when Michael Moan's wife came home to find him deceased. And it was shortly after that, or around that time, the police began to discover a YouTube video from their son, who's Justin Moan, is the individual who has been charged here. He's been charged with first-degree murder. He's received no bail. He's being held and he's in custody with police, as well as mutilation of a corpse. And that's tied to the very way that the YouTube video begins, which he says, "This is the head of Mike Moan, a federal employee over 20 years and my father. He is now in hell for eternity as a traitor to his country." And from there, he goes on a 14-minute, 34-second rant against the government, against the Biden administration, and he called for the death of all federal employees. And he also put out information in the address of a judge who had ruled against him in a civil suit. So it goes from there. We're leaving out, obviously, a fair amount of the details not to propagate what this individual was saying.
That makes sense. Here's the thing. It took YouTube hours to take down this video. What is the company saying?
Yeah, so they put out a statement, and, I think more questions need to be asked about this, but they did say that it violated their community standards, which is probably a gross understatement as far as its violence policy and putting out information about violent extremism. Sometimes they catch it quickly. Sometimes law enforcement gives them a heads up and says, hey, there's a manifesto out there, or somebody is actually live streaming a crime, and that forces them to take it down. So I don't know what the chain of events were here. Clearly, law enforcement knew about the video. They were reviewing it. They were reviewing it last night when I talked to some of the detectives that were involved in this specific investigation at the local police department there in Middletown Township. So that chain of events is something that probably needs to be looked at. They do say they are trying to stamp out any sort of copies of this from being further distributed on their platform.
That's important. Yeah, NBC News investigative correspondent Tom Winter. Tom, thank you very much.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.
We do have breaking news just into CNN. We want to warn you, this is very disturbing. A Pennsylvania man was charged with murder and abuse of a corpse after police say he posted a YouTube video in which he claims to show his father's decapitated head while ranting about the Biden administration and the border crisis. Now, this video circulated online for hours before being taken down. The father of the individual was a federal employee. His son called him a traitor. With us now, former FBI Deputy Director and CNN Senior Law Enforcement Analyst Andrew McCabe and CNN's Danny Freeman. Danny, I want to start with you. This is breaking right now. What more do we know about what actually happened here?
Yeah, Phil, and just to state the obvious, obviously, as you said, this is an incredibly disturbing story. I watched part of this video last night, and it's one of those things that it's an image you just can't get out of your head. Yesterday, this is when this all started. This video was posted on YouTube. The suspect here is Justin Moan. He's 32 years old. He's from Middletown Township in Pennsylvania. That's in Bucks County. And as you said, this video contains a number of rantings, basically, about the Biden administration, about the border. At one point, even declaring himself the acting president under martial law. But then there's this horrific moment when he appears to show the head of his deceased father on camera, saying that his father was a traitor to the country because he was a federal employee. Now, that video, like you said, Phil, stayed up for a long time. Eventually, later into the evening, YouTube was able to take it down. Even X seemed to be taking down videos that people were just reposting and reposting. But then in the evening, police were able to apprehend Mr. Moan about 100 miles away from his home in Bucks County in Fort Indiantown Gap in Pennsylvania. Again, that's 100 miles to the west of where he was and where this crime is alleged to have been committed. Now, I will say, just to give you a sample of one of the things that Mr. Moan said, and I'm quoting here from the video, he said in part, "The federal government of America has declared war on its citizens and the American states. America is rotting from the inside out as far left woke mobs rampage our once prosperous city." Now, still, the thing that law enforcement are trying to make clear at this moment is that this suspect is in custody. The threat to the larger community is over right now, but truly a community on edge, you can imagine, after hearing this news. We're going to hear a press conference from the Bucks County District Attorney later on today on this subject.
Andy, this video it references President Biden. It was up on YouTube, as I understand it, for several hours before it was taken down. Talk about the bigger picture here, if you could.
Sure. Yeah. So the bigger picture is extremely concerning, I think, as do most security officials as we go into what will be an incredibly heated political season. You know, obviously this guy, we don't know. We're waiting on additional facts from the investigation to understand his specific motives. You can make some assumptions based on his claims in the video that he's been motivated by politics. But, you know, I think that the bigger picture here is that this is another example of the fact that the kind of overheated, deeply politicized, extreme rhetoric that you hear sometimes in this country from politically elected officials and leaders actually has an impact on these marginalized people with extremist views who might be, because of their mental illness or their disturbance or their unbelievably strong beliefs in some of these things, driven to embark in acts of violence. You know, some of the things that he has said on the video, allegedly referring to woke mobs and things like that, that's not dissimilar from rhetoric that you hear from some politicians that we've heard recently in the primary season from some folks specifically. So this kind of language has an effect on the extremist, on the most extreme, most vulnerable, most potentially dangerous part of our population. And I think it's something that most security officials are really concerned about. You know, Poppy, like the odds are, if we experience political violence in this year around the presidential election, it's not going to look like January 6th. It's not going to look like a massive mob of people that's organized and compelled to come together at our nation's capital or any state capital. It's going to look like individuals who decide that based on their extreme beliefs, they have to act out on their own. And that seems to be what we have here.
It's an incredibly disturbing story. Andrew McCabe, Danny Freeman, I know you'll keep reporting on this. Please keep us posted.
The big story on Action News tonight is the latest in a twisted and frankly deeply troubling crime. Tonight, the man accused of carrying it out, killing his father, then displaying it on social media, has now been charged. 32-year-old Justin Moan is facing first-degree murder and abuse of a corpse after taking to YouTube last night and boasting about having beheaded his father. Police in Middletown Township then responded to the home, finding the body of Michael Moan and several weapons they say were used in that utterly heinous act. A short time later, police in Lebanon County tracked down that suspected killer, arresting him some 100 miles from the crime scene. Action News' Walter Perez live outside that house in Middletown Township tonight. Walter, this crime beyond horrendous, and so many people saw the aftermath online.
No doubt, Brian. And what is easily the most disturbing part of that video is the suspect showing his father's severed head inside a plastic bag. This is 32-year-old Justin Moan of Levittown, Bucks County, and he stands accused of a truly unspeakable crime. He's accused of murdering and decapitating his own father, 68-year-old Michael Moan, a crime he allegedly videoed and then posted online.
I am very sad for the family. I'm very sad for the community, and also for the people that knew him.
By the time authorities got to the family home on Upper Orchard Drive a bit past 7 o'clock, the suspect had already left with his father's vehicle. But investigators were able to track Moan's movements by pinging his cell phone to Fort Indian Town Gap in Lebanon County at about 9 p.m. Local police put the entire area on lockdown. Moments later, police found the Toyota Corolla he was driving abandoned outside the Indian Town Gap National Guard Training Center. Within 30 minutes, the suspect was found walking around on the facility's campus. He was carrying a firearm, but arrested without incident.
Our officers from our police department drove up to Fort Indian Town Gap to take custody of him and bring him back to Bucks County for arraignment.
Meanwhile, neighbors here say they couldn't relax until word came that Moan was captured.
Someone that radical who has a gun, yeah, I was concerned.
The fact that they said he was on the loose, we made sure our doors were locked because we live alone. We're two old people that live alone, so we didn't know what was going on.
Now, Moan is being held without bail at the Bucks County Prison. He faces a slew of charges, including murder and abuse of a corpse. Reporting live from Middletown Township, Bucks County, Walter Perez, Channel 6, Action News. Brian?
As we said, just a truly disturbing crime. Walter, thank you.
Tuesday night, the big story on Action News is breaking news coming out of Bucks County. Police responded to reports of a decapitated body in Middletown Township tonight.
Action News reporter Sharifa Jackson live for us. They're at the scene with the very latest on what we're learning, Sharifa, about this breaking news story.
Well, Gray, Sharia, I can tell you we just spoke to police moments ago, and I did ask that question, and they say that they are not responding or answering any questions about the specific manner of death here, but they did confirm a 60-year-old man was found dead inside of this home here behind me, and they were called to the scene around 7 p.m. Now, investigators, they have remained on the scene ever since as they try to figure out what exactly happened here. You can see the street is lined with officers. They've been in and out of the home, and the home remains taped off. Police say there's no threat to the community or the neighborhood at this hour, and we've learned a suspect was taken into custody not long ago, and that suspect, police say, is the victim's son.
We were able to locate the vehicle that the person of interest fled in. That has been located and recovered about 100 miles away, and the person of interest himself is also detained close to where the vehicle was found.
Yeah, and police also say that they are investigating a video posted to social media tonight involving the suspect and this scene here. Now, we spoke to quite a few neighbors off camera. They tell us that they didn't hear anything. They tell us it's a typically quiet neighborhood. They're very shocked with this large scene and everything that is happening at this hour. Right now, we do not know any motive. Police say they are still working for that. Again, a 60-year-old man was found dead inside of this home. Police say that his son was taken into custody. This investigation, it remains ongoing. We're live in Middletown Township. Send it back to you, Gray.
Yeah, a gruesome and disturbing story. Sharifa, thanks for the update there.
And a warning, this story is extremely disturbing. Police do say that son is now in custody, accused of brutally murdering his own father in their Bucks County home. And police are also investigating possible links to a YouTube video that was posted online that may show the crime, as well as a long political rant by the suspect. Middletown Township Police here in Bucks County called to the family's home. It's on Upper Orchard Drive in Levittown. The victim's wife called 911 around 7 p.m. She found her husband dead in the bathroom. The video being investigated by police appears to show the victim's decapitated head. Now, detectives quickly focused attention on the couple's adult son who lived in the home but was nowhere to be found. Police tracked him to Central PA in Lebanon County, hours away. They found him near a National Guard training center at Fort Indiantown Gap. Police say he was driving his father's car. He was arrested and now faces murder as well as abuse of a corpse charges.
We were able to locate the vehicle that the person of interest fled in. That has been located and recovered about 100 miles away. And the person of interest himself is also detained close to where the vehicle was found.
Police not releasing many details right now. The motive remains murky, but police do say they are aware of that YouTube video. They have saved it or downloaded it, as it may be key evidence in this investigation, with the suspect spouting conspiracy theories in that video, promoting a militia and directing deranged threats to the federal government as well as federal employees. We are set to get an update from the Bucks County District Attorney at some point later today. For now, we're live here in Middletown Township. Randy Gyllenhaal, NBC 10 News.
The criminal complaint says Justin Moan posted a video to YouTube after the killing titled "Moan's Militia: Call to Arms for American Patriots." He was holding his father's severed head, stating he is now in hell for eternity. The AP reports that Moan described his father, a federal employee of 20 years, as a traitor to his country. We found Moan also authored a number of books and embraced violent anti-government rhetoric in online writings. The books sold on Amazon, like you see here, but have since been removed from the site. Moan also published an online pamphlet in 2020 in which he said that people born in or after 1991, his birth year, should carry out what he termed a bloody revolution. He also complained at length about a lawsuit that he lost and encouraged the assassination of family members and public officials. We have reached out to the FBI to see if Moan had been flagged prior to the homicide and were referred to the Bucks County District Attorney's Office. NBC 10 in Philadelphia says neighbors in Levittown described Moan as a regular walker in the development, someone they recognized, and weird. Susan Shapiro, WGAL News 8.
Breaking overnight, we're learning new information about the murder of a Bucks County man.
That's right. The victim's son is now under arrest, accused of beheading his own father. CBS News Philadelphia's Howard Monroe joining us now with the latest on these overnight breaking news developments, and the details here, Howard, so disturbing.
Yes, they are, Janelle and Jim, and there are a number of new developments since this was first reported last night on the 11 p.m. news. Middletown Township Police, they say Justin Moan killed his father and decapitated him inside their Levittown home along Upper Orchard Drive. Police were called to the house at around 7 p.m. last night by the victim's wife. Officers found Moan's father in the bathroom. His son was not there when officers arrived. They found Justin Moan about 100 miles away in his father's car at Fort Indiantown Gap, a National Guard training center outside of Harrisburg. Middletown Township's police chief believes Justin Moan made threats directed towards federal government officials and federal government employees. We do not know, though, if any of those threats were against anyone at this training center. Moan is currently being held at the Middletown Township Police Department. He has been charged with first-degree murder and abuse of a corpse. Now, authorities, they are aware of a video supposedly recorded by Justin Moan. In it, he says that he murdered his father and made threats. The video has since, though, been removed from YouTube. We'll continue to stay on top of any new developments in this investigation, both on air and online. Jim and Janelle, back to you.
Very disturbing. Thank you, Howard, for that report.
Overnight, charges have been filed in a gruesome killing in Bucks County. A man was found decapitated in a home. Police took his son into custody 100 miles away, and they believe there was more to this murder than just a family grudge. Action News reporter Corey Davis is live in Middletown Township with more on this story now gaining national attention. Corey.
Matt, good morning. This is a disturbing story, and I just spoke with one of the Middletown Township captains out here who tells me 32-year-old Justin Moan was arraigned by video. He faced a judge by video and was denied bail earlier this morning. We are right now here at the scene where he lived. This is the 100 block of Upper Orchard Drive in Middletown Township. Want to show you a new photo there that we have of Justin Moan. He is accused of not only beheading his father, but also posting the video of him committing the act to YouTube. Moan is facing first-degree murder as well as another charge that includes abuse of a corpse. Take a look at this video, a map of where he was located. We're told that he was arrested at Fort Indian Gap in Lebanon County, about 100 miles away. There is a National Guard training base there, and on the base's website, it's referred to as America's busiest National Guard training center. It is unclear why Moan was in that area. Middletown Township Police say this took a collaborative effort to track him down.
I think the neighborhood can rest easy because I think they were a little uneasy for a while before they knew where the person of interest was.
So I'll walk you through this. This all started around 7 o'clock last night after a gruesome discovery inside the home along the 100 block of Upper Orchard Drive here in Middletown Township. Initial dispatch reports saying that a man in his 60s was found beheaded and covered in blood. Police have not released the name of that victim, but said the father and son lived inside the home. The YouTube video showing the decapitation was viewed at least 5,000 times before being taken down. In that video, Action News discovered that Moan referred to himself as a militia leader and called his father a traitor to the country for being a federal employee for 20 years. Moan spoke about President Joe Biden and threatened multiple federal agencies in that YouTube video. And also, too, we've learned through court documents that his preliminary hearing will be held next Thursday on February 8th. We will definitely stay on top of the latest developments over the course of the morning and have reached out to investigators about whether he could face additional charges. Reporting live here in Middletown Township, Corey Davis, Channel 6 Action News.
Yeah, a lot to unpack there, Corey. Thank you for that update.
Tonight, a horrific crime. A man is accused of murdering his own father, then sharing the gruesome details online. The details of this story are very disturbing. I'm Yuki Washington.
I'm Jessica Cartalia. It all started last night when a woman called police saying that she found her husband dead, beheaded in a bathroom with a machete and a large knife nearby.
After the murder, police say Justin Moan left his home in Levittown and drove his father's car about 100 miles away to a National Guard training center at Fort Indiantown Gap outside Hershey. That's where they say they found him with a gun. CBS Philadelphia's Eva Anderson spoke with neighbors who are absolutely stunned.
Going door to door today, we spoke with about a dozen neighbors who were upset and concerned over what police say happened in this very home. One particular woman was nearly in tears. She said her family lives in this home just next door, and she says they were up all night. Hanging over the homes on Upper Orchard Drive is a cloud of sorrow and disbelief.
I can't even believe that that could happen, but it happened.
Judy Dreisbach said it started with a commotion last night about 6 houses down, when Denise Moan called police after finding her husband, Michael, dead in the bathtub. A relative of Judy's own son-in-law lives next door to the crime scene and stepped in to help.
He went over there and he found the guy in the tub decapitated. They were at the police station till 4:30, and they just texted my daughter.
Through her family, Judy learned more details, soon officially released in a criminal complaint. 32-year-old Justin Moan accused of killing and beheading his own father. And at the scene, a machete and a large kitchen knife.
I can't even believe it. That's what I said to my daughter. How much disrespect do you have for anybody in your family that you would kill him? I mean, you know, especially your father.
Even more disturbing, police say Justin Moan posted to YouTube this now deleted video, confessing to the crime in an anti-government rant.
Oh, I can't. Oh, you know, I really can't understand it. Yeah, I do get emotional. That's why I didn't even watch the video.
Sometime after apparently recording the video, Justin Moan drove about 100 miles outside of the crime scene. The state's Department of Military Affairs said a cell phone ping led authorities inside the Fort Indiantown National Guard base, where they say he had hopped the fence and had a gun on him. There, he was arrested, still leaving neighbors like Judy with questions.
Makes you wonder, how did it bubble up like that?
Justin Moan is now formally charged with first-degree murder, abuse of a corpse, and possession of instruments of crime. Reporting in Bucks County, Eva Anderson, CBS News, Philadelphia.
Bucks County National Alliance on Mental Illness is offering to help neighbors who are struggling with the news.
For the folks that are in that neighborhood, open invitation. Our door is open. We're here in Warrington. You're welcome to come and see us. I will come and see you if you need, if you want, just to talk about this.
You can reach the National Alliance on Mental Illness in Bucks County at 215-343-3055. We also have that number at cbsphiladelphia.com.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. We head out to Pennsylvania for our next story. A disturbing murder is under investigation after police say a man was found beheaded in his Bucks County home, and now confirming that his son has been arrested and charged for that gruesome death. Fox 29 Philadelphia's Hank Flynn joining us live this morning to explain. Hank, good morning. What developments can you share?
Yeah, hey, good morning, Jeanne. And it's day two, I suppose, of covering this story, which is national news now. And Chris, my photographer, and I have been talking about it all morning. And it's hard to discuss, Jeanne, because this particular killing violates so many of the norms and mores of our particular society, things like family, fatherhood, just the act of murder. But February 8th is what we're talking about for the first preliminary hearings for 32-year-old Justin Moan. He's the fellow that police say beheaded his father and posted it on YouTube Tuesday. Jeanne, it was in the afternoon, as we know. Police say that Moan slaughtered his father after his mother left the house about 2 o'clock. By the time she came home at about 7, police say he had decapitated his father and posted it on YouTube, calling on an imaginary militia named after himself, Moan's Militia, to take up arms, kill government employees like his father, and overthrow the country. Jeanne, his family's quiet Levittown neighborhood is gobsmacked.
You just don't wake up in the morning and think, you know, I think I'm gonna cut his head off.
Yeah, and as we know, Jeanne, good police work. Moan was caught fairly quickly out of the Fort Indian Town Gap National Guard base. He drove himself out there in his father's car. Police had been pinging his phone, and he was apparently armed and inside the fence, but police say he gave up without a fight. Now, Jeanne, I don't know, and police haven't quite said, maybe they don't know either, exactly what Moan's intentions were being inside the fence at a National Guard post while packing. We don't quite know that yet, but the timing is crazy too, Jeanne, because again, we're talking about these things all morning long. You were covering, I suppose, all of the work on Capitol Hill yesterday, where tech CEOs, specifically of social media companies, defending their policies specifically about children, as politicians accused them of being harmful to kids. Meanwhile, YouTube has this video of Justin Moan up for hours with his father's head on the desk right beside him. Several thousand people saw it, certainly enough to copy it, and it's all over the place now. Jeanne.
Hank, that perspective you just shared, absolutely amazing. Not to mention, I know yesterday you were saying how this could have escalated even further. He kills his own father, allegedly, arrested for that. But then he was also threatening all government employees and even journalists. So just to think, if this man was still on the loose this morning, who he would potentially attack next.
Well, and that's the question. And one of the people that we spoke with in the neighborhood yesterday made that point as well, simply saying, Jeanne, that if you're willing to behead your own father on behalf of some kind of an arcane political point, then you'd be more than willing to shoot a complete stranger. So what he was capable of, especially as he's calling for total revolution, who knows? I'm just really glad they got him when they did, caught up with him when they did, and that he's in custody now. I think that more will be discovered in days to come, but a lot of people have spoken about mental health in regards to this case, Jeanne, and that's something that needs to be talked about as well.
Absolutely. I know you mentioned yesterday that his attorney will probably be trying to use that insanity plea to try to get him off. Of course, as you mentioned, this is a developing situation, and we will continue to follow it. Hank Flynn there with Fox 29 Philadelphia. Hank, as always, thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox, and you enjoy the rest of the day, and you be safe as you work to keep us informed.
Will do. Anytime, Gina. Thank you.
Thank you.
A disturbing story tonight out of Philadelphia making headlines.
A man accused of beheading his father and posting the gruesome video online. Authorities say the victim's 32-year-old son, Justin Mon, was arrested for murder. He's facing several charges, including first-degree murder and abusing a corpse. Justin's father, Michael, was found beheaded in the bathroom of his home last night after officers were called to the scene. Police say that the YouTube video, which lasted more than 14 minutes, showed his son picking up his father's severed head and identifying him by name. Neighbors described Justin as a regular walker in the neighborhood, someone they recognized, someone they described as weird.
Totally screamed. Like somebody sent the video and I opened the video and I was like, oh my God, that's the guy that, you know, I see every day, that I knew something, you know, something was unhinged with him. So I couldn't believe it.
Bucks County District Attorney's Office says Mon is scheduled for a hearing next week.
Now to the new details emerging now about the 32-year-old man at the center of a grisly crime, the murder and dismemberment of his own father. Tonight we're learning the 32-year-old Justin Moan, who police say killed and decapitated Michael Moan Tuesday night, had already been investigated by federal authorities as recently as 7 months ago. After that gruesome crime this week, the accused killer took to social media, going on an anti-government rant and issuing a call to arms. It's also now coming to light that there were several other red flags that kept those who knew him very much on edge. Action News reporter Trish Hartman live in Middletown Township tonight. Trish, the picture emerging is that of a deeply troubled man.
Yeah, Brian, today we learned that the U.S. Marshals Service investigated the suspect, Justin Moan, in August of last year after he allegedly made a veiled threat towards a U.S. District Court judge. Now, no action was taken and the case was closed that same month. Now, while there are many questions left unanswered about the suspect and about this case, we are learning more about the suspect's past in the years leading up to this horrific crime. 2 days after Michael Moan was found decapitated in his Upper Orchard Road home in Middletown Township, Bucks County, flowers now sit by the door. Police say it was his son, 32-year-old Justin Moan, who committed the gruesome killing Tuesday evening and then uploaded a politically fueled video to YouTube during which he showed his father's head. He also called his father a traitor for working for the government and called himself a militia leader. He was arrested in Lebanon County hours later. According to information provided to law enforcement, Justin Moan held conspiratorial and anti-government views for at least 7 years and attempted to recruit people to join his alleged militia online. Moan also sued the Department of Education 3 times, most recently in 2022, saying the department and the education secretary failed to inform him of the risks of the student loans he used to pay for college. He also sued his former employer, Progressive Insurance in Colorado, claiming discrimination, that the company perceived him as an overeducated male and deprived him of pay and benefits. In that case, the court ruled in favor of Progressive. Now, we do expect to learn more about this case tomorrow morning. Authorities, including the Bucks County District Attorney and the FBI, will hold a news conference in Doylestown. Reporting live in Middletown Township, Trish Hartman, Channel 6, Action News. Brian.
And of course, we'll be there at that news conference. Trish, thank you.
Half hour with breaking news. We are learning new information on the investigation of the beheading of a Bucks County man. Officials just wrapped up a news conference shedding some new light on the actions of 32-year-old Justin Moan before he allegedly killed his father. Action News reporter Trish Hartman is live now from the Bucks County Justice Center with some of those new details. Trish.
Yes, Sarah, disturbing details here. Authorities revealed today that Justin Moan is believed to have shot his father before dismembering him on Tuesday. Now, we also learned that he legally purchased a handgun the day before the killing, according to police, even giving up his medical marijuana card several days before in order to make that purchase. Now, 32-year-old Justin Moan is charged with killing and decapitating his father, 68-year-old Michael Moan, in their home on Upper Orchard Road in the Levittown section of Middletown Township on Tuesday. Justin Moan then posted a 14-minute video to YouTube calling his father a traitor for working for the federal government. He worked for the Army Corps of Engineers. Justin Moan also claimed to be leading a militia and called on people to commit violent acts against federal officials. Most disturbing of all, he showed his father's head during that video. He then fled west in his father's Toyota Corolla and was arrested in Fort Indian Town Gap on the property of a military facility. Investigators say he was headed there in an effort to mobilize the Pennsylvania National Guard. Now, this is the first time we have heard from the Bucks County District Attorney on this case. She says the investigation will take months, not days. She called this crime, quote, unimaginable. She also said she was very disturbed at how many people were able to see Justin Moan's YouTube video before it was taken down.
That was incredibly concerning. I mean, obviously from an evidentiary value, that video is very important and we need to have possession of that. But it's quite horrifying how many views we understand it had before it was taken down. Obviously, we were able to capture and secure that video because it's pretty self-explanatory as to who's responsible, although these are allegations at this point. So that's very concerning.
She said that video had at least 5,000 views before it was taken down. Now, again, the investigation continues and more charges could be forthcoming. The district attorney says they will investigate anyone who has ties to this case or to Justin Moan in the coming months. Reporting live in Doylestown, Trish Hartman, Channel 6 Action News. John.
More disturbing details, Trish. Thank you.
Now to a developing story in Bucks County. This man, 32-year-old Justin Moan, was arraigned early this morning, accused of beheading his own father. The crime unfolded when the victim last night, then the victim's wife, found his body at their home in Middletown Township. Action News reporter Walter Perez just spoke with investigators. He joins us now live from the Middletown Township Police Department. Walter, what have you learned about this?
Well, Sarah, this is, of course, a deeply, deeply disturbing story, which the suspect allegedly videoed and posted online. In that video, the suspect can be seen going off on a tangent about being in a militia and his father is a traitor, and now he's paying for it eternally, all while putting on full display exactly what he did. This is 32-year-old Justin Moan of Middletown, Bucks County, and he stands accused of a truly unspeakable crime. He will go on trial for allegedly murdering his father and decapitating him, a crime he allegedly videoed and then posted online. By the time authorities got to the family home on Upper Orchard Drive, the suspect had already left with his father's vehicle. But investigators were able to track Moan's movements by pinging his cell phone to Fort Indian Town Gap in Lebanon County. Local police put the area on lockdown. Moments later, police found the Toyota Corolla he was driving abandoned outside the Indian Town Gap National Guard training facility. It then took a few minutes to find the suspect walking on the base property, where he was reportedly found with a firearm but arrested without incident at about 9:30 p.m.
Our officers from our police department drove up to Fort Indian Town Gap to take custody of him and bring him back to Bucks County for arraignment. He was brought back here and arraigned at 4 a.m. by Judge Geyer.
Now, Moan is being held without bail at the Bucks County Prison. He is charged with murder and abuse of a corpse. Much more on this story coming up on Action News starting at 4. Reporting live from Middletown Township Police, Walter Perez, Channel 6 Action News. Sarah?
Just a horrific crime. Walter, thank you.
A Pennsylvania man is accused of beheading his father and posting the graphic video on YouTube while spouting right-wing conspiracy theories. The video was shared thousands of times before it was taken down. 32-year-old Justin Moan is charged with first-degree murder and abusing a corpse. Police were called to the family home by Moan's mother, who discovered the unspeakable crime. The father's body, along with a machete, found in the bathroom. Police say Moan posted a 14-minute politically charged rant on YouTube while holding up his father's head. His father was a government worker. Moan urged his followers to take action against all federal employees, saying they should be publicly executed for betraying their country. The video had more than 5,000 views before YouTube took it down. The company says it is working to remove any re-uploads of the video.
Now this breaking news in Bucks County. Police investigating what they're calling a suspicious death in Middletown Township, and the initial details coming into our newsroom are disturbing to say the least.
Our Chris O'Connell is live at the scene on Upper Orchard Drive. Chris, what can you tell us?
Well, guys, Middletown Township Police, along with Bucks County detectives, are on scene here of what they're only describing officially as a suspicious death. But Fox 29 sources are telling us a man was found beheaded inside that home, and a suspect is now in custody. Take a look behind me. It is still a very active scene. Police responded to the 100 block of Upper Orchard Drive tonight around 7 o'clock for the report of a death, and what they found inside was disturbing. Police found a man beheaded in the bathroom of his home. Investigators have been on scene ever since. We are told by police sources they put out a flash to be on the lookout for a 33-year-old male driving a 2009 Toyota who may be armed with a 9mm handgun. And within just the last 45 minutes, a person was found, a suspect, and it is the son of the victim here, was found near Fort Indian Town Gap, Lebanon County, nearly 2 hours away. That person, the son of the victim, has been arrested.
I'm not going to comment on the manner of death right now. I'll just say that he's deceased. There's a person of interest. That person's located and detained. And I think the neighborhood can rest easy, because I think they were a little uneasy for a while before they knew where the person of interest was.
Back out here live, Middletown Township Police. You see investigators here. They have been talking with witnesses, potential witnesses in this very close-knit neighborhood. We talked with a few neighbors here. This couple who lives here have lived here for years. We are still awaiting confirmation. Let's go back out to the crime scene here at the house here on the 100 block of Upper Orchard Road. Crime scene photographs have been taken throughout the night. Again, we're still waiting on confirmation, but an apparent beheading inside the home here in Middletown Township. And those same police sources are telling us that a video was posted on social media of right afterwards of this crime. I did actually view the first frames of that video. It is absolutely gruesome and disturbing. Police say they are looking at that, but right now a suspect is in custody, the son of the victim here in a gruesome beheading here in Middletown Township.
Chris, who posted that video?
Well, it was posted by the suspect himself, that 33-year-old. Honestly, Sheba, I could only get through not even 3 seconds of the video before I had to turn it off. It was that gruesome.
Just unbelievable. All right, Chris, thank you reporting live for us from Levittown.